This customer's been to 3 different shops and got 3 different answers on why it rattles on cold start. Finally, she said, enough, I'm taking it to Omega. Let's find out what went wrong with this engine.
Wizard, I think this Honda's excited to see me.
I think it might be, yeah. It's definitely at attention there. This is a 2012 Honda CRV. Hondas are not supposed to have problems, but I've always mentioned they're kind of number 2 in the reliability lineup, Toyota Lexus being the top number 1. I apologize for all the clattering noises. The wind is so strong today and it's just making a lot of noise. I apologize up front. This customer, like I just mentioned, had been to 3 different shops. When she starts the engine, it makes the terrible and then it goes away and it's fine. If you just let it sit for a little while, it won't do it again. But when you let it sit overnight, start it up in the morning, the same noise again. One shop told her the engine's about to blow up. Another shop told her some other thing, and she got a completely different answer. She's like, I don't know where to put the money because out of 3 different answers, who's right? Who's wrong? Finally, she heard about the Car Wizard, she heard about Omega, and she said, I'm going there to get the final answer, no games. Before we dive in and find out what was wrong, let's go ahead and take a look around the CRV. Here's the front of the CRV. You guys have probably seen this in a million different cars. There are tons of these on the road. What would you call the color, Mrs. Wizard?
Oh, that's kind of like a seafoam blue, maybe?
Seafoam blue, okay. She's had it for a long time. It's in really pretty good shape, and in a few years she's hoping to get another vehicle, but she wants to get another few years out of it. I think she totally will be able to once it's fixed. As you can see, there's no dents, no rust, no caved in pieces or parts or anything anywhere. Let's go ahead and jump under the hood. So I'll go ahead and, this is, yeah, let's get this out of here. All right. As you can see, we have some of the engine apart. We're going to be revealing to you what we found, and it is not cheap, and it's also very, very common on these engines. As you can see, it is a 4-cylinder. It's fairly easy to work on. Junior Man already has it apart, and he didn't have a lot of trouble. He didn't have to fight or curse. It was a lot of room to the front, to the back, to the sides. Plenty of room to get all the parts and pieces out. Before we dive into that, I'll let you guys take a look at the interior with Mrs. Wizard.
Okay, ladies and gents, I wish I could turn this on, but you saw that engine. You saw those timing chains exposed, so we know I'm not going to turn this engine on. And I wish I could show you, but it does have about a little over 145,000 miles on here, but that isn't very easy to read. Gauge cluster, very simple, not much going on. The dash looking really good. Got another screen up there, which of course we can't turn on, but everything is very much plastic, and a little bit of faux wood plastic as well. But as we get to the center, it's simple to use radio, HVAC controls, and our gear selector is in the center of the car. So go below that, you'll see we have dual heated seats and a nice power outlet there. Moving over, we have our cup holder, and here she has a folder with everything she's ever done to this vehicle. An essential item. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a folder you get at Walmart. Got a very big retractable, there we go, center console, and it's not really a console you lean on, it's a center console with a gap, and so not much going on, scissors, things like that, but this roll top is still looking very nice. So we look at our leather-esque seats here. We have a nice movable armrest and one on each side. Since we don't actually have a console, we can put our arm on, but the seat is looking nice, kind of a nice, kind of darker ivory color. We have 2-tone on our door card, also in very good condition. Our back seat has that standard 40-60 split, but I do like that center section just have a little more space. Looks like we can lay down that center person's headrest, and the headrests on the back look like they might be able to move as well, which would be nice. So look down, seats are in good condition, plenty of leg room. Make sure we have space, you know, to put the people in here. What's the point of having a back seat? You can't put them in here. But the headliner's looking in very nice condition as well. So Honda, I don't know what's going on with you, but something's going on with your chroming of your plastic. We had a Honda in here not too long ago, and it also had the kind of the chrome-esque stuff chipping off. That's a shame. But other than that, everything is looking really good. Simple buttons on the sides and our phone controls there at the bottom left-hand corner. So things looking good in here. Let's go back to that engine bay and see what's going on and why is it all tore apart?
Whenever we're waiting on parts or anything, we always put a little rag or something over the cams or anything we have apart so dust and things don't fall in. So, ta-da! There's the magic trick. There's our cams with the VTEC part of the intake cam there. But why does it rattle? I've seen this on a lot of different vehicles. We remember our Ford 3-valve Tritons, the 5.4. They rattle all the time, but you have some vehicles where only on a cold start it'll rattle for a few seconds and then it goes away, and for most of the day you don't ever hear it again. The next morning it does it again. The reason why is oil pressure is what operates the cam adjuster or cam phaser. Whenever you turn the car off, that's supposed to lock and no longer be able to move. When that lock breaks or something goes wrong inside of it, whenever you start the car, until oil pressure is replenished into that cam gear, it literally has nothing there. It just it rattles. Let me show you guys. Here's our exhaust cam gear. It's a solid piece of stamped cast or whatever, I don't know what you call it, steel. So there's nothing special about it, it's just a gear. Now if we look at our intake, it looks like a solid disc. There's pieces and parts inside of here so that this can move and actuate and change the cam timing using oil pressure. Right now I got the cam gear to actually lock by tapping it really hard, but when they're bad, you can take a wrench on the camshaft. It has a little hex kind of milled into it so you can move it, but the cam will move, but the gear won't. But that, I mean, it's currently moving because I locked it into place. But what happens when you start it is that this is making the rattle. Inside this gear, it goes, it's inside of there is where our rattle is. So I know some of you gearheads around there say, duh, Car Wizard, just put a new gear on it and call it good. You can even do it with just the valve cover off. Why are you tearing the whole thing apart? I know better. I'm not dumb. I told Junior Man when he was working on this, I said, not only is that actuator bad, $10 says the timing tensioner, the timing chain tensioner is all the way out max to its max position, and even that is still loose. And when he took the timing cover off, I would have won $10. I was right. Let's take a look. So we see here's our tensioner, and this little arm I'm touching should be out 2 or 3 clicks. It's out all the clicks, maxed out all the way. So you can see there, it is pushed all the way out. And this chain is still loose. So I know those are kind of hard to see, but again, let me kind of reiterate. That shaft that sticks out pushes against the timing chain guide, tensioner guide, and basically tightens up the chain. It only can go so far until it runs out and it can't tension the chain anymore. The chain is severely stretched. So much so, let me show you how loose it is up here. So I'm kind of pointing right here. I should not be able to get this slack. It's just loose. Look at that, guys. We also believe it has skipped one tooth in timing. Junior Mint went to line up the timing marks, and the bottom lines up, the exhaust is where it should be, but the intake was off exactly one tooth. It's because the chain is so stretched. Can you imagine? I said just throw a cam adjuster on there. Duh, just do that, it's easy. And this customer left and the timing chain let go. And then it's grenaded the motor. I have to buy a new motor because I was being lazy. We're not going to do that here. They're getting a full job. Timing chains, guides, tensioner, adjuster, the whole 9 yards. Let me show you what these parts look like, the new ones. So here's all our parts, brand new parts, Honda OEM, that are comprising the timing chain system. We have here, this is our exhaust gear. Here's our cam adjuster. This is causing the rattle in this car. Inside of there are little like locks and things and vanes where oil pressure, you can see these holes in the bottom, oil pressure can go in or out and adjust the timing on this gear. This is what's causing the noise. Here's our bottom sprocket on the crankshaft. If you guys remember on the BMW 4.4s, both Range Rover used that engine and BMW in the 7 Series, they actually had where the timing chain guides would fall off, which is this white plastic here. This white plastic is where the chain actually rides on. The plastic would come off and break into pieces with age. Luckily, that's not the case here. Here's our brand new tensioner guide. Here's the other side guide. Here's the top rail. This is what the chain rubs on. And a brand new chain that's not all stretched out to Kingdom Come. Here's our tensioner. I want to show you guys. Do you see these little serrations here? 1, 2. Whenever we install this new chain, it might come out to 3 or 4 serrations. But as you just saw on our old tensioner, this little arm is all the way out to here. It's completely maxed out. And we explained it to the customer, you need the whole 9 yards. You need the timing chain, the guides, and the actuator. It's not going to be cheap. Customer approved it, said let's do it. I don't want this car to blow up on me. The next thing the customer had a concern about is an oil leak. And if you look at this picture here, it's the oil filter adapter. It's what the oil filter actually screws onto. That piece bolts to the engine block, and it's just pouring oil down the back side. Unfortunately, while it was pouring oil, it took out a motor mount. Take a look, guys. It messed up the rubber here. It's completely severed in half all the way around on both sides, actually. See, it's just completely cracked through. That comes from months or possibly years of oil just dripping all over the rubber and deteriorating it. So a new motor mount is going to fix that. Also, the seal comes in a little tiny little envelope or a little plastic baggie. Sometimes I get stuff in the mail and I open it up and I say, there's nothing here. And it's kind of tricky. There is something. These little guys, they're just in this little envelope. 3 little gaskets, that's all it is. Not a very big job. Whenever she got oil changes, they should have let her know about that. Maybe they did. I'm not sure if they did or not. But let's talk about those other 3 shops now. In the green folder that Mrs. Wizard showed you guys on the interior review, it listed all the things that the other shop said and everything. But basically, one shop was right. They told her that the timing chains are very loose, the actuator's rattling. You're going to have to get this all fixed. It's going to be, I think they quoted her over $3,000. Another shop said it was something else going on, and they said it's not a big deal, you just can't keep driving it that way. And the third shop said they weren't sure what it was, but whatever it is, they didn't have the tools to fix it. She's like, okay, so what do I do here? Finally, she said, I've heard about the Car Wizard. I'm going to go there and get it checked out. I had Junior Mint remove the valve cover, and at that time, it had been setting overnight. The camshaft finally unlocked, and the cam actuator were just floppy as could be. And then I rocked it back and forth. I could see that timing chain was so loose. And I said, no. We're not going to let this one slide. It's getting the full job. I said, Junior Mint, pull the whole timing cover off. Sure enough, that thing's extended and maxed out. So what is this going to cost? I kind of thought maybe $1,500, maybe $2,000, somewhere around in there. Generally, a timing chain kit is a couple $100, and a cam adjuster maybe $150. For whatever reason, the parts have doubled or tripled on these. The timing chain kit, just the timing chain kit I showed you, OEM, $500. The gear by itself, $480. And then all the gaskets and everything you get involved, just parts alone is over $1,200. Then you get the labor involved. We're going to do an oil change, and we're also going to fix that leaking oil filter adapter and do a few other small things. We were approaching $2,500 to $3,000. The customer was like, hey, I know you know that's definitely what's wrong. It needs to be done. And you guys just saw with your own eyes documented evidence. That is what's wrong here. So we'll get it fixed. We got the parts here, as you see. Junior Mint's ready to dive in, get everything lined back up. All new parts, stop the oil leak. This car will definitely last another 3 years.
Okay, Wizard, I thought timing chains were like indestructible, never have to do anything with them, not like a timing belt.
They should be. If quality parts were used, the timing chain should last 30, 40 years. There's a lot of cars out there from the 1950s and 60s and 70s that have, again, they're not overhead cam, but they have their original timing chain and they're still working fine. Just like this Mustang over here. You don't really even think about a timing chain on something like that. It just doesn't break. It can, but very rarely. But on these newer vehicles, we're seeing timing chains left and right, just constantly stretched out or breaking or skipping. What's the problem here? Why is this happening? The reason why is factory cost-cutting measures. Maybe they had a $100 timing chain that would last 40 years. And the bean counters got a hold of it and said, oh, hell no. We're putting the $10 chain on because it'll last 100,000 miles. After that, I don't care what happens to this car. Not our problem anymore. And if you saved $90 on 500,000 vehicles, somebody's pocketing the difference and getting a big Christmas bonus. That's what's happening, I guarantee it. They go through and find out ways they can cheapen it up just enough to last a little while. Guys, these timing chains can be made to where we don't even have a video to talk about timing chains. They last forever. They could do that. For whatever reason, profits, they don't. So what stretches on these timing chains? This is the brand new one. And as you can see, there's little tiny pins that hold each link together. Those get pulled and worn out over time, where if you get just a few thousandths play in each pin times, I don't know, what, 200 pins? That's called stacked tolerance, and it starts adding up and up and up to where there's an extra inch of chain. And the tensioner can take care of some of it for a while, and finally it runs out of reach. It can no longer tension anymore, and as it continues to wear, you get to the point where it starts slipping on the teeth and damage to the engine can occur. This chain, although it works, I just wish they made something stronger. This is kind of bare minimum. This works probably for 100,000, like you see here, 100,000 miles, maybe a little more. It's time for a new one. So I was reading, kind of going through my Facebook feed this morning before I came to work, and on this site called The Drive, they mention their words. It says car repairs are about to get way more expensive thanks to tariffs. Is that true? What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. As we're seeing here, the prices are double what I thought they would be. Is it because of the tariffs, or is it something else? Why don't you guys tell me? Let's have a discussion in the comment section. Are we on the verge of some huge increase in car repairs? I hope not, because that hurts me over, cars going to get estimates and customers are going to be like, I can't do that right now. If it was $1,000, I could do it, but not $2,000. So I guess time will tell. Guys, let me know what you think about that. So I definitely wanted to get a video out there to show you guys. There is some times where there's a minor rattle. It's not that big of a deal. It can be way expensive, way more than you thought it would be, because you open it up to find the culprit, only to find out that if you don't address the second part of that problem, which was the stretch timing chain, you're going to have a second problem 6 months from now. If I would have just replaced the actuator, it would have worked for a little while. But we did see that the timing chain had already slipped one tooth. We could have got it back in line and got it back where it's supposed to be. 6 months, a year, eventually this will stretch out to the point where it skips 2 or 3 or 4 teeth. The customer is going to come unglued on me and say, why didn't we solve this while it was apart? Guess what? We are. We're going to. The customer is very adamant. They're like, I need to get 3 more years out of this car. Can I get that if I spend the money? Is it worth it? Yes. Probably more than 3 years, way more than 3 years. What she'll get after that, maybe another CRV, I'm not sure what she'll buy. I recommend Toyotas. But it is unfortunate, and I want to show you one last thing before we close this video. When I looked up on Identifix, just to kind of verify what we're looking at here, there was more than just a couple of these. There were hundreds. So it's several pages here, timing chain actuator. This is, again, all over the whole country. I didn't print off all the pages. I mean, it would be so thick, but just tons and tons and tons and tons. These are two-sided, by the way. And then there's another stack of pages where it says timing chain stretch, timing chain stretch. Just tons and tons and tons of them. So this isn't, again, just a problem on a few of these. So, just a handful have that problem. No, it's not. There's a lot of these that have this problem. So when those 3 years pass, she decides to go trade this in. They could try to nickel and dime her and say, oh, these have timing chain problems. She can show our receipt that says, no, this one was solved. It has a whole new, brand new setup. that's a non-starter. You're not going to nickel and dime me on that. That's what's really good about getting these things fixed. And number two, if you have a car that has a 4-cylinder engine with variable valve timing and you hear that clatter on a cold start, it sounds like a diesel almost, and then it goes away for the rest of the day, you really should get it to a shop and get it checked out, because in this situation, if it were ignored, it could destroy the engine. It really could hurt it. So make sure not to ignore that noise. One of the shops I mentioned that said they couldn't figure out what was wrong, and the reason why is because, like I mentioned, when you do start it in the morning, it'll make the noise, and then it may not do it the rest of the day because oil has primed the gear and it's finally got a chance to lock. Oil also acts as the cushion and keeps it from rattling. Once that oil drains out overnight, it rattles again. Very likely that shop started it a few times. Hey, this ain't rattling. This lady don't know what she's talking about. Here's your keys back. We can't find out what's wrong. They didn't even try, guys. When we got it in, Junior Mint started it a few times and says, hey, it's not rattling. I said, leave it sit overnight. I bet in the morning it will. And sure enough, it did. This is another one of those situations where you need to give your mechanic some time to look at your car. We've had a few customers lately that come through, I'll drop off my car, I'll be here at 4, you'll have it fixed, right? No, that's not. Sometimes it takes time. We have to waste a whole day and wait till the next day to get it to act up. Then we can spend that day trying to figure out what's wrong. 2 days are gone, we still haven't fixed it. It just takes time, guys. Give your mechanic some time. So definitely, like I mentioned, get a video out there to show you guys. If you hear the rattling, you might be looking at this situation. Again, this seems to be a common issue on this 2012 CRV, maybe a few years plus or minus, so make sure to keep an eye on that on yours. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. Really great gift ideas, and all the tools we use in the shop on these cars is listed for sale there. If you purchase anything, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And we have 5 more cars that just showed up today, which means more videos for you guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.